Stop 2.
Top 2.
Governor! Woo!
Hey, man. How are you doing?
Good.
See you guys. All right. Hey. All right. Great to see you.
Well, good afternoon. We were down in Collier County last week unveiling the extension of our partnership with Publix to bring it to Southwest Florida. We have a number of stores there in Collier. We said, I was asked about other places in Southwest Florida, and I said I shall return very soon. So I'm happy today to be here to make this announcement. Before I do, let me just say, Florida we were the first state in the country to put seniors first when it comes to vaccines. And we're focusing on our 65 and up population. It's the right thing to do, and the proof's in the pudding. We have given shots to almost 700,000 seniors as of right now. That is #1 in the nation by a country mile. People are hundreds of thousands behind Florida, and so we're going to continue with that momentum. Also important to point out that when you see how many have been vaccinated or this or that, there's a lag for when this is reported. And so now if we look back, say that first week of January, December was slower because of the holidays, and we said that would happen. January, the first full week, January 4th, Monday, through the 11th, the Sunday, Florida did 350,000 initial vaccination shots during that first full week of January. Then this most recent week, starting last Monday and going through on Sunday, Florida already has reported, and more are going to be reported probably over the next few days, already reporting over 400,000 shots just in that 1 week. That's just the initial shots, too. They're starting to do booster shots for people as well. So the throughput has been very good. We're now giving vaccines out faster than we're getting it, and we have the capacity to do a lot more if we continue to do. But as we were going through this, we try to figure out what makes the most sense for everybody, what's the easiest way, and there's been a number of things that have been done. We've had some hospital systems that have done a great job getting into communities. We've had county health departments have sites. State has had sites or worked with them to do these drive-through sites. We did a drive-through site at the Villages up in Central Florida. We also have Hard Rock Stadium in Miami-Dade that is a drive-through site, and that can do 1,000 people a day, no problem. We've also done partnered with places of worship. We've done a lot with African-American churches, for example, which is also good. But we were able to, about 2 weeks ago, do a pilot project with Publix to bring the vaccines into Publix stores in people's communities. So we started with 3 counties, Citrus, Hernando, Marion, and we had it in 22 different Publix locations. And basically what you do, when the website's live for the new stores, you go on their website, you sign up, you make an appointment at a Publix store, you go in, and it's like clockwork. It's a very quick evolution. They do observe you for 15 minutes after your shot, but you're able to do it by appointment only, and each store does between 100 and 125 shots a day. So in those 3 counties, you had 22 pharmacies doing 100 to 125 a day. That was between 2,000 and 2,500 shots a day just there, just at the Publixes. So I went, when we set it up, I just showed up at some of these Publixes. I talked with seniors. People loved it. They were very complimentary about Publix, and Publix has been great for the state to work with. So we said, all right, well, we need to bring this in other parts of the state. So last week we announced a partnership to do 83 additional Publix pharmacies, and that's 9 counties. So we had Panhandle counties, we had some counties in the northeastern part of Florida, and then we had Collier County because we wanted to bring it in to Southwest Florida, and that's been very successful. People are very happy with it, and so we went to Publix and said, look, let's get it into more areas. And basically the reason why we like this is, you can set up a drive-through site somewhere, but like elderly people don't necessarily want to drive an hour or 45 minutes. If you do Publix, most people live pretty close to one in Florida the way it is. In fact, I was just in Palm Beach County this morning. We announced expansion to Palm Beach and Martin counties, and the Palm Beach County government folks that I met with last week told me that they estimate 90% of their senior population lives within 1.5 miles of a Publix in Palm Beach County. So that's the difference between a centralized site where you try to get as many people through, which is logistically can be difficult, but obviously for a senior may not be as advantageous, to a decentralized, bringing it into the communities where people can go in to their local grocery store. So we think that that's been a very successful model. So we are happy to do the Palm Beach and Martin announcements, as well as Monroe. But then today, just as I promised I'd be back, we're able to announce today that you'll be able, starting tomorrow, to sign up on the website, and then starting Thursday, Publix will be offering shots at all 32 Publix pharmacy locations in Lee County. But that's not all. We're also going to do 7 Publix pharmacies in neighboring Charlotte County, and so they'll be able to offer it in Charlotte County as well, which is really, really good. So this will then bring us to a total statewide of 220 Publix pharmacies across 17 counties that'll be offering these shots to our seniors. And I just want to stress, the way they do it at Publix is by appointment only. You go on the website and you're able to do it. Again, that website will be live tomorrow for these new stores, so you can check back tomorrow for that. You make your appointment, you go in, and it works very well. If you show up unannounced, what they're going to do is just give you the information about making the appointment. So they just ask that you do it online. It's publix.com/COVID vaccine for more information on how to get it. But we're excited about this. We now have this really in all corners of the state, and it's something that we very well may do statewide if we're able to have enough vaccine on hand. And so this will be good for Southwest Florida. We'll now have 3 counties, Collier, Lee, and Charlotte County in Southwest Florida. I think that's going to be really good for a lot of seniors in this part of the state. And so as we continue moving forward, we're not going to budge from our focus on seniors first. We think that, of the 4.4 million seniors, not every senior is going to want it, but we think most will want it. And so that means we've got to get through several million people. Now, we've got a great head start. We're doing it better than other folks. You hear these stories of like, oh, someone wants to come from like far flungs of the world to Florida. We're only doing for Florida residents. You got to live here, either full-time or at least part-time. But it shows you that people wouldn't be doing that if we weren't getting shots in people's arms. I mean, people know that we're putting seniors first, and they know that in a lot of other states, some of these seniors haven't even been eligible for shots for a long time. Others, they're saying, well, if you're 70, maybe in March or April you can get your shot. Now, we're doing those shots right now here in the state of Florida, and so we're going to keep doing it. And so I think as we get more vaccine, we'll be able to expand more things like this. But I cited those numbers at the beginning just to kind of put a kind of a little bow on the fact that from the first few weeks you were hearing, oh, there's all this vaccine in the U.S., it's not going into people's arms. Part of that, there was some truth to that because it was delivered to hospitals over the holidays, and you were not seeing the level that you're seeing now. But part of that is reflective of not understanding that when these shots are reported as given, there's a lag on this. You really need to wait probably a week to fully know the previous week. And that's why if you look back at some of the individual days, we now have days where we've done over 80,000 shots in one day. The day after that particular day, though, it wasn't 80,000 yet because they hadn't reported all that. So as we get more reporting, we're now doing 350, 400, maybe more 400 last week. We're not getting 400,000 shots, initial shots anymore delivered here. In fact, we've only had one time where we've had even over 300,000. Now we've asked for more. Warp Speed says that they're going to start giving more to states that have more elderly population, and we hope we can get it because we can use it. Between the county health departments, the drive-through test sites, the hospitals, the church program, Publix, we're going to be able to get it. And the more we get, the more seniors we can do as soon as possible. And so that's going to be our focus. Seniors first. We've got a good head of steam, but we've got to keep it going, and we need to continue to get more vaccine. But to have done 350,000 the first full week of January, the 4th through the 11th, and then over 400,000 last week, that is a very good clip. It's a clip I think we can exceed if we have more vaccine, but we are certainly going to run into a situation soon where we're not getting as many full doses as we need. And so we're just going to keep fighting for Florida and make sure everyone's got what they need. But this is good stuff. We're going to keep up the momentum, and I look forward to folks in Lee and Charlotte counties, the seniors, able to go to Publix now and get this coronavirus vaccine shot. With that, take some questions. Yep.
Governor, just on another topic.
Well, let's do this topic first, and then we'll go. Yes, ma'am.
Just about why is the state cutting off vaccines on live health-run sites to divert more of the private companies?
We're not cutting off anything. It's just a matter of, we're not getting as much as we're using, so we're sending it to areas where we know the throughput is high and we know it's going to be used, within that week. And so if I got my vaccine supply doubled, you would see it go to more places. But as of now, we've got to make the decisions about which sites are performing high, which sites have high demand. And then there's also some places where you have hospitals that are doing a good job, and so that may be the tip of the spear. You have other places where you really need some things like the Publix to make a difference. But it's all supply dependent, and I can tell you if I got 500,000 next week instead of 270,000, we'd be able to put that to good use. Yes, ma'am.
Governor DeSantis, we hear it every day. I'm sure you hear it as well. Right now, there are so many folks, particularly the most vulnerable, who have anxiety. They're waiting by the phone. They're waiting for that job. They're getting disconnected. The county commissioner said today that the state is moving toward a more uniform system to make appointments. How do you encourage that as a people that that's precedent?
Well, let me just be, so in terms of making the appointments, what I've told people from the very beginning, we're going to do seniors first. We don't have enough vaccine to do all seniors right away. It's going to take some time to get it in. So we've asked for patience, and what I've said is we're not going to rest until every senior who wants a vaccine is able to get a vaccine. I do think that will happen. I don't think it's going to take 6 months to do. I think if we're able to see our doses increase, we can keep clipping it off. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we are not doing the appointments. Publix is doing that directly with them. We've been asked, because some of these counties had problems with websites, to provide some support. So we're doing that to be able to give them another option so that they're able to schedule some of these appointments, and we're happy to do it. Now, so like Publix is online only. A lot of the places, and we've done phone for things like the Hard Rock Stadium. The problem with the phones is they melt down, and you have to have a fleet of people. So to have like one county be able to do that is very, very difficult. And so having an online platform is probably the better way. And when these county sites were having problems, just understand, this is like millions of people are going on this is a big crush of people. And so a normal website isn't used to doing that. And so, you want something where people are able to do. But Publix, for example, when you go on tomorrow, the seniors that do, you get on, some are going to be throttled and having to wait because they don't want to make sure the site keeps going. You don't want to just have it all of a sudden crash, you know, with hundreds of thousands and sometimes millions of people.
Question for the press.
Press, any other press questions? Yes, sir.
Have you had any conversations with the incoming Biden administration about vaccine distribution, how that might work out? Might be a little different now? Are we going to get more quicker, or do you have any kind of read on that?
So I don't have any read on it. I mean, you know, when you're right coming in the middle of this thing with warp speed, I think that that trying to change radically in the middle of this, I think could be potentially problematic. And I can tell you, I saw some of the stuff that Biden's putting out. He's going to create these FEMA camps or whatever. I can tell you that's not necessary in Florida. All we need is more vaccine. Just get us more vaccine. If you get us more vaccine, we have throughput to be able to get it through. I can expand Publix. We can do more drive-through. So I can double Hard Rock Stadium, for example. We could just do way more right there. We can do way more at the Villages. And so that would be, to me, the number one thing is just getting more vaccine to the states that are using it well. And if you do that, we're good on everything else. But just think about it. If you come in and you tell FEMA to create some type of camp, how long is that going to take? And then are you going to divert vaccine away from my efforts and the efforts here where we're doing 70, 80,000 people a day now going at a good clip? I don't think you want to do that. And so, and then the more bureaucracy that's involved in this, the worse it's going to be. Trust me. That was one of the reasons why when we're dealing with Publix, people were saying like, oh, well, why don't you assign people to Publix? No. When you get more, you don't want all these irons in the fire. Publix is there. People are going to go. They're going to make the appointments. When you have these hospitals, people are going. They're making the appointments there. To put layers of government on there, it's just not going to work. So I worry the more that they try to control the application of it, I think that's going to be very problematic. They should use their ability and authority to get more vaccine for folks. That should really be the top thing. And then if they're going to release this second dose, you know, they should have a plan for how that's going to work. Because as of right now, when we get it, everyone that's got a shot so far, the federal government's effectively been holding that booster shot in reserve. They didn't want to release everything and then have a hospital turn someone away, say, no, I got to hold this booster. So they're supposed to use whatever they have, then the booster comes. When you start releasing everything, then you got to have a sense of what the production schedule is going to look like. Because if they give me 500,000, say use it all, but then they're not holding back the booster, then I got to be sure in a month that we get the more Moderna coming off the assembly line. So those are just things you have to think about. But of all the things they're talking about, increasing supply, sending more to states that have high elderly populations, and then sending more to states that have high throughput, I think is kind of the way to go. Look, there's different states have approached this differently. As soon as the Pfizer news came out, I flew to DC and met with Warp Speed. I met with the FDA. I met with all these folks. And so we wanted to, we had a pretty good sense of what it was going to look like, but we also knew that there's a lot of uncertainty. You got to be very nimble. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. And so that's what. But we also viewed this as we're not going to mandate a vaccine. No, people can take it if they want. But if people want it, we want to be able to give it to them and want to try to do that. So that's just been our approach. And I think we've got a lot of vaccine being given now. I think we can do more with our current throughput if they send it. But to try to reinvent the wheel at this point, I think would be a big mistake. Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah, after this. Yeah, I'll talk to you after this. Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. The Coast Guard situation is that they sent out text messages warning Coast Guard members to be on alert in case anything would happen. Are we stepping up security here in Florida, and are you concerned given the inauguration?
So we were getting these, I don't know if they're even indications, but there were people in law enforcement saying, so for example, we have more law enforcement at the state capitol. I don't think anyone showed up at the state capitol all week. Maybe someone will come tomorrow, I don't know. So we've basically heeded some of those warnings, but I can tell you nothing's materialized so far. People thought Saturday was going to be this big thing. I had, all these people running around Tallahassee trying to do all this, and nothing's materialized so far. So we'll see. Look, when we get if law enforcement tells us, and I put some guard available in case something happens. But I can tell you, as of now, we've not really seen any indication of anything special. So, okay, guys. Well, I will be back soon. You got.
Yep. I want to thank you very much.